Have you ever wondered how the most richest and most powerful people in the world seem to be untouchable? What if I told you they're working with demons and jinn to be able to control society?
His best performances.
Basically what I did was got on my knees.
For celebrity status. And I believe that this is a touchy subject for a lot of people because people don't want to acknowledge that this does happen, that people sacrifice people for money and fame, and people are scared to. You know, I think it's time for people to talk about things that, you know, you don't want to talk about, but that's really happening. We have to face it today.
Sure.
All of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed,
I'll send you a letter and answer it within a 24-hour period, and we'll tell you what we can give you. What you mean a letter, man? Just tell me right here. No. Go home. We're gonna
Right. So I went in the corner and then I was looking at the wall and I was like, come on, devil, right?
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and all day. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just.
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. So it has been said for so many years that a lot of celebrities are doing a lot of unthinkable stuff behind the scenes in order to have fame and fortune. Like the Kardashians allegedly selling their souls to the devil for their fame and fortune, meanwhile sacrificing all the men in their family, and also just Jennifer Hudson's family being unalived for her to have the position that she have now, which obviously has been paying off. She has her own show. And to Kanye West saying that his mother has been sacrificed. Well, let's get into it, and we're going to discover what it is that's going on in Hollywood and why are so many celebrities, family members are unaliving a few months or a few days after or before they become famous, because there's something in the water that's not making a lot of sense. Like the baby's father unalive right before his big album goes platinum.
We're going to send you a letter and answer it within a 24-hour period, and we'll tell you what we can give you. What you mean a letter, man? Just tell me right here. No. Go home. We're going to send you a letter, and that letter they're going to explain. But it's going to be coded like what they want him to do if he's willing to do this. You see, it's like nursery rhymes. And you're like, what? If I do what? Well, I don't understand the letter. Give us your mama, and we'll put you in the $20 million club. Man, you crazy. And if you weak, you ain't got the Lord on your side, you sitting at home in that dark room, you tired of eating Roman noodles, you ain't got no running water, electricity out, you buy a candle going, all right, man, she work, downtown, she get off at 6. What I supposed to do? Set it up, have her at home, you catch a plane, go somewhere for a couple of days, and we'll send you a text. All right. A week later, they give them a text. They won't say that she's dead. They'll be like, the party was great. Thanks for showing up. Because it's like coded. They ain't going to just come out and say they killed her, right? He heard on the news she dead. He break down. He goes to his bank account. He got $20 million in his bank account. He slowly forget his mama. Ask Kanye West.
Is sacrifice. And I believe we all made sacrifices in life for our children, for our parents, with our time, with our money. I mean, have you made sacrifices in your life?
Of course.
Yes. But today I really want to focus on sacrificing people who sacrifice people for gain, for money, for power, for celebrity status. And I believe that this is a touchy subject for a lot of people because people don't want to acknowledge that this does happen, that people sacrifice people for money and fame, and people are scared to. I think it's time for people to talk about things that, you don't want to talk about, but that's really happening. We have to face it today.
Sure.
So yeah, let's get right into it, okay?
Absolutely.
So it's the year 1996. I am dating Aaron Hall. I am 17 years old and pregnant at the time, I know. We're actually in LA, and he was going to sign with Death Row Records. We were invited to a Mother's Day event 1996, and all of Death Row family and friends were supposed to join. So Aaron said he had to go to a meeting. That's why he couldn't, take me to get my hair and nails done. And it was an important meeting, and he couldn't miss it. So Pac's gonna hold me down. And then we met up with Aaron after I got my nails and hair done. We went to the hotel, and Aaron's extra, stressed and pacing back and forth, and him and Pac start talking. So he's extra mean, extra just everything, and I felt like there was something going on. It's more than just business. So to let you know, allegedly, when he was, going to this meeting, he's kind of pleading for my life. Some of these people, to be down with the cause, you got to sacrifice people, was insane to me. And allegedly, they told him, there come a dime a dozen of her. She could be replaced. I don't care if she's pregnant. You can get a pretty young thing, and it's no big deal. So allegedly, he said, no, I'll be damned. I'm not going to do that. I love her. So they went back and forth, and allegedly it was said, it's going to happen if you like it or not. So he buys me a white dress, go to the event. So I say this before we go into the venue. When he was pleading for my life and telling that, he doesn't want nothing happening to me, he's still taking me to the venue. I went over this over and over in my head. Why would he take me? Why would he put a white dress on me? It's like, dressing the lamb and giving her to the wolves. You know what I'm saying? We walk into the back of the venue. I'm still have no idea. I'm oblivious of what's going on or what's going to happen or what they tend to do. This female, runs towards Aaron, and then he walks her halfway, grabs her, and they start talking, and they're in each other's face. So a 17-year-old's mind, you know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm right? She's approaching, she's screaming, so I'm thinking, oh, I'm here, I'm pregnant. Right. She's up. So the mood changed. People started moving towards Aaron and I, men. And then I said, ooh, it felt eerie. I said, something's different. It's not, I'm your man. Hard, you feel something wrong. Right. And then, so I shut up quick. I was looking at the room and seeing, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's really going on. Because I see the fear now in Aaron's face. Within the commotion and people started moving towards, you see the dudes, Pac runs. He runs towards Aaron, grabs the girl, and says, nobody can touch her. Points to me. And he goes, she's family, she's Aaron's wifey. So Pac comes in and comes up to us and be like, you guys are good. And looks at Aaron and says, don't stay long. Like dead up like that, don't stay long. Not knowing at that point he was my angel, he saved my life. Pac saved my life. And I'm grateful that he saved my life. And we said goodbye. And before we said goodbye and left, one of the demons came up to me and said, you're blessed. I mean, I was looking a demon in the eyes. He was telling me that you almost got, and I felt it in my soul. The setup allegedly was to make it look like a gang thing, beat her up, and leave me on the side of the road. So that's what allegedly they were supposed to do.
What was her purpose? The female.
To drag me out, to start it off. Remember, it's all about a look. So it's got to look like gang related, grabbing up another girl, dragging her out of the venue, and then.
Also, just Jennifer Hudson family being unalived for her to have the position that she have now, which obviously has been paying off. She has her own show.
Today's episode, we got Jennifer Hudson. And shout out to the Sacrifice YouTube channel. That's the content you will be seeing. Every time it's somebody close to them that disappears. Is that a coincidence? No, it's not.
Hudson grew up in Chicago. She was a finalist on the Fox series American Idol. She went on to star in and win an Oscar for the movie musical Dreamgirls, and more recently had a role in the Sex and the City movie.
Just couldn't hold back the tears. A mayoral proclamation naming this Julian King Day in Chicago. Julian would have been 11 years old today, but in 2008 he was murdered, along with Jennifer Hudson's mother and brother. William Balfour, ex-husband of Jennifer's sister, was convicted of triple homicide. Jennifer and Julia Hudson were there for every moment of the 13-day trial. And today, the superstar entertainer spoke to me about the trial for the first time.
So we have like a new beginning, and it's beautiful. We're still blessed, and I mean, we've had our loss, but we're finding our way.
So we have like a new beginning, and it's beautiful.
Whole family
we're still.
By no means did my son do this.
By no means did my son do this.
We are being victims of something. They don't even know the real truth of what's going on with this story.
Being victims of something they don't even know the real truth of what's going on.
No, he has never had a gun. No, he has never been bodily harm to no one. No, he has never been the type of kid that you can say was a violent type.
My mama was sacrificed. Michael Jordan, what about him? His dad, Bill Cosby, his son. You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.
And you really lost him the same day you hit number
Swear to
one
God,
in the show?
the same time, not the...
Mom ain't here, my mama was sacrificed. You understand?
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize. And God loved me. You understand? They hit me. Gap, Adidas, all that away. Still, Forbes, who hate me, right? Had to write net worth 400 million. Jesus is king. God loved me.
The album also received 3 nominations at the 2009 Grammy Awards, with Jennifer winning the Grammy for Best R&B Album.
The Grammy for Best R&B Album goes to Jennifer Hudson.
Some fans have speculated that the family tragedy might have been a cost Jennifer had to bear for her Oscar-winning performance in Dreamgirls. One fan said, "I remember when Jennifer Hudson had 3 relatives that were murdered all at the same time by someone familiar to the family, and then she wins an Oscar supporting actress for the movie Dreamgirls. Keep in mind, she had never ever acted in a movie or TV show a day in her life before this. You have actors and actresses who have acted for 40 to 50 years and never won an Oscar. I hope and pray those deaths of her family members have nothing to do with her winning that award." Besides that, the medical examiner initially claimed that Jennifer's nephew, Julian, had already been deceased for a span of 3 days before his body was discovered. However, during the trial, when William Balfour's defense attorney asked the examiner to establish the precise timing of Julian's passing, the examiner conceded that Julian might have passed earlier. This revelation was important for the defense, given that Balfour had been arrested on the same day that the bodies of Jennifer's mother and brother were discovered. So if Julian passed after Balfour was taken into custody, it would logically exclude Balfour from involvement in his death. Balfour also continued to maintain his innocence, and in 2016, he granted his first interview from prison, claiming he had no connection to the case.
They done tested everything, and I was cleared of it. Evidence, the keys, was processed a month later. What police department take evidence off somebody and process it a month later? Keys that they send that was in a file cabinet, locked up in a sergeant's office. Who is to believe that?
All these strange details have led some fans to speculate that Jennifer might be another example of a celebrity who traded a part of her personal life for fame, potentially involving her own family. And while others are convinced that the entire narrative about Hollywood sacrifices is a conspiracy theory, Cat Williams recently claimed that there's no such thing as a coincidence in Hollywood. And when a celebrity or one of their loved ones dies suddenly, there's someone behind the scenes making a lot of money off of their trauma.
All of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money, he goes up and up and up.
As for fans, there are actually a lot of them who believe that Hollywood sacrifices are a real thing. One fan said, "Absolute truth. I've been saying this for decades. Look at every major celebrity. Every one of them, without exception, has had someone close to them die. Suddenly, unexpectedly, by suicide, murdered, etc. All sacrifices. It's the cost of fame and fortune." And another person wrote, "I believe him. 99% of famous people lose somebody close to them to continue on the path of money and fame. But what about you? Do you believe celebrities are really forced to sacrifice someone close to them in exchange for fame? Or do you think this is all a conspiracy?"
So after Kanye West got divorced from Kim, he came out crying, basically saying that, his mother was sacrificed and they're trying to, put him under a Baker Act thing. And a Baker Act is basically when you have attempted to take your own life and or you are a danger to yourself, so therefore they will Baker Act you. And I think in California it's called 2120, I don't know, there's a number for it, but and where I live, it's called Baker Act. But anyways, he was saying that his mother was sacrificed, and you know, Bill Cosby sacrificed his son. I do remember when Bill Cosby's son was unalived, very strangely, and a lot of their unalived family members would get unalived at such strange ways that people cannot help but to question it. But in my opinion, Kanye, they couldn't have sacrificed your mom if you didn't agree to some terms of them, you know, sacrificing. It's almost like owing. It's called 5150, not 2120. But anyways, you have to have signed something that says, if you don't deliver what you promised, then we can come for anything in your home. It's like, you know, when you sign for a credit, you know, they put your liability or your assets, and if you are not able to pay this, they can come to your home and claim this, because at the end of the day, you're signing something away, and you're saying, yes, it's okay if I don't deliver, this could happen, that could happen. And in the spiritual world, because when they're doing all these sacrifices, allegedly, it is working with the spiritual and not the physical. So therefore, whenever...
Is it possible that these actors and actresses are possessed by demonic spirits who have a specific agenda to fulfill? Oscar award-winning actor Denzel Washington told 60 Minutes exactly how he brings forth his best performances.
Basically what I did was got on my knees and sort of communicated with the spirits. And when I came out, I was in charge.
Powerful scene.
Powerful scene. I couldn't have acted that. I couldn't have written that down and made a decision to play that.
What, are you gonna smoke that?
Nope, you are.
Hell if I am.
Yeah. You're Jesus freak. You're Jesus freak.
The one-woman entertainment empire known as Oprah has strong affiliations with the demonic realm. The most familiar face on television says,
"You can not only use your body and physical self. This is how I see acting. I ask my body to be the carrier for the spirits of those who have come before me in a way that is most meaningful to the character. Just become the vehicle for that character."
Calling out for these entities to take her over so that she may become a sparkling puppet, Oprah admits of her work before the camera.
I tried to empty myself and let the spirit inhabit me.
With her global influence, her shows have become a smorgasbord for the New Age agenda.
Have you ever wondered how the most richest and most powerful people in the world seem to be untouchable? What if I told you they're working with demons and jinn to be able to control society, to be able to avoid being caught up in their actions? And they're doing this to such a degree where people are starting to feel trapped and hopeless. So the rituals that they partake in all involve three different things. It's intention, meditation, and energy source. Usually the reason why they're using the sacrifices is that's an energy source or like an offering to these spirits. They sacrifice or they give something up that they love, care about, or otherwise, and say, hey, I'm giving you this thing, I want this in return. Now this all comes down to the relationship that they have with the specific spirit. If they have a good relationship with the jinn, they don't really got to bring as much and whatever. All that doesn't matter. But the point is they have to bring something to the table.
Gotcha, bitch!
Are you paying attention?
No matter how strong you are going to be affected by this plague. I'll think, fuck it, and you'll resent it for a little while, then you have to let it go. Otherwise, you'll eat yourself alive. And I think it takes that kind of cockroach resilience to survive in this town. When I came over here, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them, and They tell you don't go to the house on the hill. It's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like. Could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track. With a lot of this stuff, not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think, now this is what I mean by actually starting to swim up or downstream with the rest of the salmon, you know, eventually, if you stay here long enough.
Yeah.
You'll find yourself doing that. And you have to, there's a way of doing it without doing it. That takes time. And it takes relaxation.
Not being uncomfortable about...
Not being uncomfortable. Realizing it for what it is.
Projecting.
And understanding what it is. Once you understand it, well, then you're not afraid of it anymore. So you can just walk around it, through it, and then get on with what you tried to get on with in the first place. A place like this can humiliate you. And it can humiliate you, it can be humbling. I mean, it does rip your life to pieces. If you'll let it.
Yeah.
And it's always pounding at the walls.
Easy. They send the stylist at them first.
Yeah. Yep.
And if the stylist is like, if the stylist report back and be like, oh, he ready, then they invite you to the party. And that's when they be like, yo, look, when you go in here, it's going to be some, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, you get invited to the party where the greeting is the man squeezing your whoa. So my cousins used to be like, yo, man, like, so then what happened was, you know what I mean, my cousin Sherm, you know what I mean, my cousin Jafar.
Sherm the what?
I'm talking about basketball Sherm.
Oh, no, I was talking about the Queensbridge dude.
Nah, he not from Queens. Like,
Okay, yeah.
Whatever he started doing his, you know what I mean, he started doing like, you know, modeling, whatever. I mean, he was Macy's, everything. He rocking that, you know what I mean? He rocking, he got everything, Macy's, I mean, boom. He about to be the next Tyson Bedford. Like, like lined up, like contracts lined up, boom. The next, matter of fact, he had about like, boom, he had a $6 million contract, you know what I mean, like for do the Law and Orders. You know what I mean? Boom, Law and Orders and all that. So the night before that, the day before you signed the contract, they was going to celebrate. Like, yo, Tyson.
Come to one of them parties.
Tyson, I'm like, yo, we're going to go celebrate, right?
Yeah.
So, boom. He gets to the party, whatever, rocking. So, yo, you ready for the mall? Like, it's going to change your life, you know what I mean? But he like, yo, before we do that, we going to go in this room. Like,
whoa.
Like, he like, this is, you know what I mean? He see everybody going in there. He like, yo, we gonna go in this room. Like, you might gonna see some. So then he's like, what? So it was like 3 or 4 of them. You know what I mean? 3 or 4 of the, you know what I mean? The next top people, whatever. So someone was like, yo, he like, skirt. Left all that shit on the table. He called me like, yo, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what? He like, all this time, like, I was just thinking you was making an excuse. You know what I mean? Like making an excuse why you not on top or why, you know what I mean? He said, and when you was telling me that, when you telling me this, because I'm telling him, you know what I mean? Because that's my family, so I'm giving him the inside track. Like, no, this how that shit work.
And you said, and just to clarify for the people, you said Tyson, meaning Tyson Bedford, not Mike Tyson.
No, not Mike.
Ali Vegas, a well-known rapper from Queens, shares a troubling account about his cousin, a basketball player set to sign a $6 million contract for Law & Order. Before signing, his cousin was invited to an exclusive party, a practice where newcomers are tested through suggestive acts to gauge their compliance. Vegas emphasizes that selling one's soul in the industry involves compromising personal integrity and becoming subject to control. He describes how many high-profile figures face hidden pressures and manipulations, revealing a stark contrast between public perceptions of fame and its harsh realities. His cousin ultimately backed out, realizing the uncomfortable reality. This story highlights the often unseen aspects of the entertainment world, where individuals face significant personal and ethical dilemmas. Ali Vegas's account underscores the need for awareness and vigilance when navigating the paths to fame and success.
Started off. Remember, it's all about a look, so it's got to look like gang-related, grabbing up another girl, dragging her out the venue, and then...
I'll let you in on a little something, but I'm not gonna drop names.
Okay.
But I'll never forget, these are black producers, a guy named Kevin Brown and Andre Brown, and he was later on 30 Rock, but they would come to us and they would tell us about vanity and losing your mind in Hollywood and be careful. And they came back from Hollywood to try and expand us. And they sat us down and they're like, you ain't gonna believe what we saw. I'm like, what did you see? And they said, we saw so-and-so, huge name, so-and-so, huge name, and so-and-so, big name back in the day, chicken hawking at a party. And I went, what? See, you're white. I said, what's chicken hawking? Everyone laughed. He's white. He don't know chicken hawking. I said, what's chicken hawking? That's when you hanging out with boys that are transvestites. I went, what? What? See, now you're telling stories. Now you're telling stories.
Yeah.
But I never forgot that. 3 years later, this name, ping. Huh.
Busted chicken hawking.
Yeah, so back in our party.
So y'all start joining me.
Tila Tequila
Let me just
is
kind of do
exposing
an
Hollywood.
exposure, mass exposure on like Illuminati, the all-seeing eye, and when they do this little like, when they do this symbol, because a lot of in the media, I don't know if they still doing that today in the land of the living, but I know what I experienced when I went down there. They call themselves the elites, and what it means is the elites of like the satanic kingdom, and they do this thing with the all-seeing eye. As you notice, in the past I had that all-seeing eye too, because I had to become one of them in order to come back and expose them, you see. So this wickedness, and for a while they're trying to keep me silent, but I'm like, wait a minute. Satan's a liar, because he just wants me to be silent, because we keep living in today's world, in the land of the living, and there's no justice anywhere. Like, where's the God of justice, right? It's because I kept silent all these years, but I'm not going to keep silent no more. But what goes on down there in Hollywood, I don't know if it's still going on today, because I don't want to accuse nobody, but what I saw, I pray that everybody out there repents, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. In these they have lots of child trafficking rings, and they even have their own churches, but they're very satanic churches, and they do abominations. They sodomize each other. I'm not going to get into details because it's so traumatizing to what I saw and experienced down there. But the more power you have, the more fame you get, the more depraved things you have to do. So I don't know if they still do that today, like I said, but God our Father knows, God in heaven knows, the cloud of witnesses knows. So I pray, Heavenly Father, that if these things still go on out there, all of the world, all these elites, whatever they're trying to do like this, to be quiet, that you will bring exposure to them and bring swift justice to the children's lives that were sacrificed, the children that are molested, because they often, they were even like molesting 3-year-olds, and then they're asking me like, can we go even like lower, meaning like, can we have sex with a baby? And it was just so disgusting, guys. This is why I'm so traumatized, because like, oh, I can't believe, it's very traumatizing. I can't even talk about it because it's so nasty. But, in the Illuminati world, Hollywood, if you're still doing that today, I pray that Lord Jesus Christ, Heavenly Father, that you apprehend these criminals and bring them to justice, the ones who sacrifice babies, rape children, even in the government realm, the government officials, but I don't know about the land of the living, but I'm going to have to testify anyways, because this is what I saw. It's like this huge, massive, worldwide elite. They call themselves, and they molest children, they, sacrifice. It's just nasty, guys. I can't even... But anyways, I gotta testify this so that there's truth and justice to be had in the land. All glory to our Father in heaven and our Lord Jesus.
Tunnels under Hollywood.
Okay.
Do you believe in them? Do you think they exist?
They are real.
Really? I knew I would
get... I'm just pissed I'm not invited.
There's so many different
tunnels because
Do you think celebrities really use them? Do you think people really use them?
yes,
You think it's the 1%? Like, you think it's just like the
it's definitely the 1%. We built our city on top of a city that kind of already existed, so there's just a lot under there. And the problem is I've been invited to these scenarios. I've felt like the sickest, most led feeling ever, and I've never gone down those routes.
obviously believe all of this Diddy stuff is real and darker than it's even shown.
Yes, I'm glad people are finally seeing it. I think it's because all we do is know his music and he's great. We actually see someone as a monster. It's like holy, like yeah. I
Kim
think
Porter, right?
they offed her, absolutely, allegedly. Yeah.
Does it ever scare you to say things like this?
No,
But I guess
I have no fear, which is why I don't think they've taken me out.
a while where people really thought you were Illuminati. I'm not
We may still hang out sometimes. I'm just not going to be a Hollywood puppet and entertain anything dark or illegal. Tried to blackmail and coerce me over and over and over to do horrible things, and I'm just not a horrible person.
Do y'all realize that y'all have family members who are the reason behind the deaths in your family? There is so much that everybody needs to learn about what's going on in the spiritual, so people actually understand what warfare is. Because like I said, you're not learning it at church. I actually had to give my whole life in warfare so that I can educate people on this. But do you know people in your family are they are directly responsible for the deaths in your family? I'm going to tell y'all how. But when y'all see a live pop up with my name on it, y'all better click on it, because I'm going to be teaching all these things. But I'm going to tell y'all how. Okay, so some people, it could even be one person. Even though that may not be the religious beliefs of your family, that is not the root of your family. That's not what y'all believe in. Y'all could be a family that had always believed in Jesus Christ. Always went to church, was a Christian. That's the root of your family. But then you'll have that one that chooses to do something different. And that one starts dabbling in different arts, okay? And the thing about these different religions and the dark arts and, the practice of voodoo and all that stuff, spell work, all that crap, but it actually works. Because if it didn't, God wouldn't have to speak about it all throughout the Bible. So it is a craft that works. The only problem with the craft is I don't think that they're educated within their own books that they can do it. They can destroy somebody's life. They can. But they have to pay for that. And if they're not the ones paying for it, it's going to hit somebody in the bloodline, somebody in the family may have to go. Because that's how that works. There is consequences for playing in that stuff. And I really, honestly, in my heart, I believe that people cannot know that for real. But then again, the most narcissistic, weakest people in the family is typically the ringleader and shit like this. So people like that, actually, they don't have a heart. So they really don't care about nobody in the family. And so they really don't care that this shit will ricochet and hurt a family member, if not take them out. I don't think they care, because if they did, they probably wouldn't have rings of this shit when they create this type of stuff and then start having their children do it and their grandchildren do it. Anyway. So you have this one person, because we're going to go back to one. We have one person in the family who is dabbling in the dark arts, and they're doing things to other people, or they're even doing things to family members. And then somehow someone in the family gets terminally ill. And everybody in the world has been, living life believing that, when you get sick, or when anything happens to you, you can break your leg. Anything can happen to you, okay? And we are taught to believe that such is life, and such is not life. Because if you read the word, God will it that we be in good health. So if our health is affected in any way at all, I'm talking about a common cold, As simple as that. That's still the effect of either someone throwing that at you or the practice of someone doing it in the family, the backfire of the things that they're doing that you don't even know that they do. You don't even know they do that. And now you're being affected. Or maybe you lose one of your children and have no idea that it is directly connected to what the family or someone in the family practices behind closed doors, behind your back, while in your face, representing themselves as a child of God, a Christian, a Catholic, anything like that. But behind closed doors, they practice that. Then all of a sudden, your child is gone prematurely in life. And then that's the main person crying at the funeral. They're the ones that's looking for all the attention. Want everybody to call them for months and months after to see how they're doing. And they're the ones who's practicing the stuff, sending it out to other people. And then when the stuff is returned to sender, the energy has to go back somewhere and it ends up hitting one of their family members. So it's not that the person that they sent it to returned it to that family member. The person literally, all you have to say when you are walking upright, because it's in the power of our tongue, is I return it to sender when you feel it coming your way. If you even feel something on your body, you return it to the sender. So I'm telling you all this because when God had opened my eyes to my friend group, right? You know, I know one that married a Mason and was in a sorority. Two of them were in sororities. The other one is just a following idiot that would just do anything other people do. And it was clear that her family probably was more into the dark arts because I met both of her parents being crackheads. That is a direct result of dabbling in that stuff. So, because it'll, you know, have you on drugs. That is, let me tell you something. God got promises that people need to understand. So, anyway, it caused me to kind of keep my distance from her. And actually, I used to hate when her number would pop up on my phone because we wouldn't talk much. Like, we can go a whole year and never spoke. But then she would call me and I would feel bad because I don't really know what to say right now as far as, like, I already know who she is. So how do I play this off, you know? Because I don't really care if we never really speak again, but I don't want to be rude, you know? So I would still, like, entertain her a little bit or whatever. But I remember that her mother passed away. This was around 2015 or something. And me and her mom, you know, I knew her mom since we were growing up. Like, that girl used to be like my close bestie, you know what I mean? So I've been to her parents' house a million times. Me and her mom was really, really cool. And even after we grew up and the bestie moved away, her parents still lived in my hometown. So I still stayed, you know, really cool with the parents, would check on them if they needed me to run an errand, you know, things like that. But when her mom passed away, I did not go to that funeral. And the reason why I did it is because days before her mother passed away, the Lord put it in my spirit to contact her mother. And I did. The enemy does not want me telling this story. Anyway, so what I told her mom was that her mom at the time had cancer or something. And I asked her if she believed in the Lord and if she understood that that it's her walk with God that even allowed her to get cancer. And, you know, I just really wanted to talk to her really about repenting and things like that because I figured that she got this daughter, but this daughter be playing church woman. She plays church woman, but her soul is wicked. So because of that, she's not paying attention to the fact that we as real children of God, we had the power to change that situation just with the knowledge and the healing of that person, right? Anyway, so I remember I was about to talk to her about that and her phone beeped and then she was like, hey, I'm gonna call you right back. Somebody's on the other line. So I said, okay. And she didn't call me back. And within that week, she was gone. And I felt really angry because I was upset with her daughter. We were friends for a long time. And even though we're not that close anymore, I know your parents, and I know that you walk around here acting like your parents are your everything, but it is the things in which you practice, just your envy for me, that causes her to do the things that she do behind the scenes. Took her mother out. And in that particular friend group, which these were my high school friends, at least those three, all three of their moms left this earth. Maybe they thought it was funny that me and my mom wasn't that close, but I didn't have that type of mom. That is not somebody that I wanted to be close with. That is a soap opera queen. That is not somebody that I was trying to be close with. So for them to get close to my family, knowing that they had a mother that loved them, that they should have been focused on and living upright and not doing the things that they're doing that would have backfired and caused the illnesses and the deaths of their own mother. We're going to talk more about this because people really need to understand the spiritual realm and what's actually going on and why it's important, why the word says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. God's people have been perishing forever. It's time to change that narrative. So y'all start joining me.
Tila Tequila is exposing Hollywood.
Mass exposure on like Illuminati, the all-seeing eye, and when they do this little like when they do this symbol, because a lot of in the media, I don't know if they're still doing that today in the land of the living, but I know what I experienced when I went down there. They call themselves the elites, and what it means is the elites of like the satanic kingdom, and they do this thing with the all-seeing eye. As you notice, in the past I had that all-seeing eye too, because I had to become one of them in order to come back and expose them, you see. So this wickedness, and for a while they're trying to keep me silent, but I'm like, wait a minute. Satan's a liar, because he just wants me to be silent, because we keep living in today's world, in the land of the living, and there's no justice anywhere. Like, where's the God of justice, right? It's because I kept silent all these years, but I'm not going to keep silent no more. But what goes on down there in Hollywood, I don't know if it's still going on today, because I don't want to accuse nobody, but what I saw, I pray that everybody out there repents, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. In these they have lots of child trafficking rings, and they even have their own churches, but they're very satanic churches, and they do abominations. They sodomize each other. I'm not going to get into details because it's so traumatizing to what I saw and experienced down there. But the more power you have, the more fame you get, the more depraved things you have to do. So I don't know if they still do that today, like I said, but God our Father knows, God in heaven knows, the cloud of witnesses knows. So I pray, Heavenly Father, that if these things still go on out there, all of the world, all these elites, whatever they're trying to do like this, to be quiet, that you will bring exposure to them and bring swift justice to the children's lives that were sacrificed, the children that are molested, because they often, they were even like molesting 3-year-olds, and then they're asking me like, can we go even like lower, meaning like, can we have sex with a baby? And it was just so disgusting, guys. This is why I'm so traumatized, because like, oh, I can't believe, it's very traumatizing. I can't even talk about it because it's so nasty. But, in the Illuminati world, Hollywood, if you're still doing that today, I pray that Lord Jesus Christ, Heavenly Father, that you apprehend these criminals and bring them to justice, the ones who sacrifice babies, rape children, even in the government realm, the government officials, but I don't know about the land of the living, but I'm going to have to testify anyways, because this is what I saw. It's like this huge, massive, worldwide elites, they call themselves, and they molest children, they, sacrifice. It's just nasty, guys. I can't even... But anyways, I gotta testify this so that there's truth and justice to be had in the land. All glory to our Father in heaven and our Lord Jesus.
Tunnels under Hollywood.
Okay.
Do you believe in them? Do you think they exist?
They are real.
Really? I knew I would
Now
get...
I'm just pissed I'm not invited.
There's so many different tunnels. Because
Do you think celebrities really use them? Do you think people really use them?
Yes.
You think it's the 1%? Like, you think it's just like the...
It's definitely the 1%. We built our city on top of a city that kind of already existed. So there's just a lot under there. And the problem is I've been invited to these scenarios. I've felt like the sickest, most led feeling ever, and I've never gone down those routes.
Obviously believe all of this Diddy stuff is real and darker than it's even shown.
Yes. I'm glad people are finally seeing it. I think it's because all we do is know his music and he's great. We actually see someone as a monster. It's like, holy, like, yeah. I
Kim
think
Porter, right?
they offed her, absolutely. Allegedly. Yeah.
Does it ever scare you to say things like this?
No,
But I guess
I have no fear, which is why I don't think they've taken me out.
a while where people really thought you were Illuminati. I'm not sure.
We may still hang out sometimes. I'm just not going to be a Hollywood puppet and entertain anything dark or illegal. Tried to blackmail and coerce me over and over and over to do horrible things, and I'm just not a horrible person.
Whenever, for example, they could tap into someone and basically make them just like the man that started eating the other man's face, you know? It wasn't just because he woke up and he started eating another human's face. I believe that something was triggered and this person basically did it without even realizing, just like the scopolamine when they... So the scopolamine or angel dust, basically they will blow it in your face and make the person who's committing the act zombify, so therefore they'll go and do the act as if that it's like a body walking and the person, the spirit is not there, like they don't know what they're doing. So they're almost like sleepwalking and they're doing the act because they're under the control of someone else. So in my opinion, they have that in Haiti as well. You know, someone decide they want to do harm to someone else using the spirit world, right? So what they will do is they will bring that person as an offering, as like a zombie to the person who's doing the work. So you're giving that person's soul, so that person who's doing the work for you, like the magical work, don't necessarily have to see that person physically. They could just do it simply from an object that's linked to that person, which is, it's called a link, you know? So they will do harm to that person without you having to be next to that person. They don't need to be there. They can simply do it. So basically you would go with something that's linked to that person you're trying to get rid of. And that person who's doing the work for you will simply do whatever they need to do. And now the person that you're getting rid of either would be driving and an accident happened and, you know, they're gone, and or they just so happen to be in the crossfire of some strange accident, you know, on the streets or whatever. And that's how it goes. So they don't necessarily have to have that person there. So when I hear, you know, just like the Angie Stone, whenever the accident happened and people are saying the Illuminati came to collect, well, they didn't have to do what do you call that? They didn't have to tap with her brakes or anything. It could have simply be something in the spiritual that then presented itself to her while she's driving or something, but something happened. Have you guys ever seen the show, The Chilling Adventure of Sabrina? I'm gonna give you Let me give you a perfect example of what I mean when I say this, where they don't need to be in the physical to do this to you, as long as they have a link to that person that they're doing the harm to. So if you guys ever seen the show, The Chilling Adventure of Sabrina, when Sabrina's friend's brother died, so the boy that she was dating, his brother died. And basically they were in the mine, before the brother died, they were all in the mine looking for something, and he did not want to go. Harvey was Sabrina's boyfriend, and he did not want to go, but his brother was in the mine, so he ended up going with the brother. So while they were working in the mine with all the other guys, and they knew Sabrina's friends who did not like Sabrina wanted to do something to Harvey and his brother because they wanted to harm Sabrina or to hurt Sabrina, so they ended up using a puppet of the brother and Harvey in the mine looking for things, and they took a rock and they crushed the puppet of the brother, and the rocks in the mine ended up falling, which then in return killed the brother. But they really wanted to harm Harvey and not necessarily the brother, but because he was in the crossfire, he ended up being unalived instead of Harvey. So Sabrina knew that it was something spiritual that happened because of the way the mine fell, the way the accident actually happened. So they knew that it was no coincidence. You know how when people say, oh, there's no such thing as coincidence? Well, that's true. Like, for example, if you're trying to do something and the spiritual to someone, you don't need them to be there. You don't have to be in front of them physically. If you have like a picture or a link to that person and whatever it is that you're trying to do, you will bring that picture to the warlock or witch or whoever that's doing the work, that's powerful enough to tap into like necromancy type stuff. Then and it doesn't necessarily have to be necromancy, but they would use that, and they would use the spiritual to do the things to the person. The person could be overseas. They could be anywhere that they are. It could happen based on like whatever spirits that they work with, and also whatever the type of work that they're doing. So they don't have to be there. And or they can possess someone else's body to make them do the work for them. So for example, when someone like the guy that was eating the human's face, to me, like in Miami, to me, in my opinion, that person, something snapped and they ended up doing that, or something that was put, was activated, and for them to go and complete a mission. It was a mission that was to be completed. Now, don't think I'm crazy or anything like that. It's just in my opinion that this was something that was activated, because who would just wake up one day and say, I'm going to eat a human face, And they try to put it on like drugs. And don't get me wrong, drugs can cause you to do some strange stuff, but I don't know about eating someone else's face, And wasn't there something that came out about the man being like an ex-military guy, and we know like people who come out of the military. I watched this show, it's called Homecoming, and the things that I see that they do to the military guys is very interesting. Not saying all people in the military that happens to, but majority of them, there's something that's not clicking. It's not clicking. But anyways, guys, that's my take on the whole celebrity sacrifice situation. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and let me know what other video I should be making next. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Love you. Like I said, we're going to touch up some stuff on this book. So in this book is called Spell of Abundance, Love, Wealth, and Protection. So in this book, on the first page, actually, I have a glamour affirmation that you will basically say, you stand in front of the mirror and you stare at yourself and you admire yourself, and you will say to yourself how beautiful you are. You'll basically seal this your beauty, like your glam, after you've done your makeup, or even stand in front of the mirror naked with nothing on, so you can really reaffirm yourself of your beauty, of your confidence, and all that. This book is mainly for like self-confidence and self-elevation, calling the goddess in you, calling the divinity in you, calling the beauty in you, and also work with the moon, because the moon represents the woman, the mother, womb, water, all of this. So yeah, I have all the steps in here of all the spells that you need to do. It even has one to get rid of unwanted guests. It's pretty funny. To get rid of unwanted guests. And this book right here, right? So I'm gonna run down real quick of all the materials that you're going to need. You will need a brand new broom. It has to be brand new. And you'll need a piece of parchment paper, a black pen, a black trash bag, because we're going to get rid of this sucker, right? And of course your intentions. And also I have spells on here that you can say. I have daily affirmations. And also I have spells on here that you can do every single day to work with the energy of the planets of the day, and also the archangels that work with the day. So anyways, there's so many spells. There's a 7-day manifestation spell with archangels. And let's see. A 30-day money spell with bay leaves and the Fihu sign, which is a money sign. It's like an F with the extra part. Anyways, the symbol is there, and I even show you like what you need to do, what the sigil look like, all that. And the keys to enhance your spell. So there are different things on here on how to enhance your spell, and basically grow your finance, grow your love, self-love, self-admiration, chance to say to yourself to give you that extra energy to go about your day. And also tips to enhance your spell. Oh, I already said this. And morning coffee abundance prosperity spell. You guys remember I just shared a video about morning coffee and how important it is when it comes to hoodoo, and how you can basically use your first cup of coffee in the morning to manifest a better life or a better day, or to bring forth money to you. So don't let, you're already doing these things anyway, so you might as well just incorporate something a little bit extra to basically boost your thing. And here's to influence your boss spell. So this one, I'm sure people who are actually working are going to love this. It's to influence your boss and attract favors towards you at work. Because look, in this economy, we're all working and we need some boost at work, and we also sometimes need to be tied to our job, so therefore you don't get fired. You know what I mean? So there's some stuff that you could do to basically tie yourself to your job and or tie the job to you. And once you're done and you're all tired of that job, you can get rid of it. It's not something that's completely permanent, but use magic, guys. It's here for you to use. You have the herbs in your closet, you have the herbs in your pantry, you have the candles that you could just simply buy some candles super cheap. Use magic to elevate your life. Use magic to make yourself better. Let me tell you, Jesus was out here using magic, okay? Walking on water and stuff and turning water into wine. Sounds like magic to me. But anyways, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Yeah.
Damson Idris called on the devil.
Sometime we do 10 episodes for my show, and in this last season, I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So then I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me, because I had to do something like crazy, right? Had nightmares for a month. So it does come.
Up to it or after?
After. Like I had nightmares every day. Like I felt that energy.
Oh, interesting.
You know, and I had to pray and do all this stuff to like get rid of it. And, you know, you call your mom up and you're like, bring me back.
Celebrities who sold their souls. Part 8 on Nicolas Cage channeling demonic spirits as a form of method acting.
And the same thing too, if in the mythology, if you could sell your soul to the devil, this could happen to you. I think that was the...
Well, in an interesting way, Ghost Rider is more real if you go for that sort of thing, in that he deals between the spiritual and the material. And if you have an open mind, anything is possible.
There is an acting style that is popular in Hollywood called method acting. Method acting is when an actor literally becomes separated from him or herself and attempts to become fully absorbed into the character they are playing. Method actors completely lose their identity in their role. Method actors can't help but to stay in character on and off the scene. They never go out of character during the entire filming because they have become the character. But there is a difference between the kind of acting when you pretend to be someone else and the type of acting where the goal is to become someone else. This method of acting, in truth, is not really acting, but they are having spirits act through them. They conjure these spirits by heavy meditating on their imaginations so that they will become the character, but they are really becoming vessels for demonic spirits. Nicolas Cage, a popular method actor, calls his type of method acting nouveau shamanic or new shaman. Shamans are people who contact and see into the spirit world through various rituals. They also invite demonic spirits to come into them. In an interview, Nicolas Cage said he reads the book The Way of the Actor by Brian Bates. It states that all actors are modern-day shamans, and he learned that ancient shamans would use masks or rocks or some sort of magical object that had power to it to invoke spirits. During a web chat for Empire Online, Nicolas Cage describes how he used this method to play the character Ghost Rider. He said, "It occurred to me because I was doing a character as the spirit of vengeance, I could use these techniques. I would paint my face with black and white makeup to look like an Afro-Caribbean icon called Baron Samedi, or an Afro-New Orleans icon who is also called Baron Saturday. He is a spirit of death, and I would put black contact lenses in my eyes so that you could see no white and no pupil. So I would look more like a skull or a white shark on attack. On my costume, my leather jacket, I would sew in ancient thousands of years old Egyptian relics and gather bits of tourmaline and onyx and would stuff them in my pocket to gather these energies together and shock my imagination into believing that I was augmented in some way by them or in contact with ancient ghosts. I would walk on the set looking like this, loaded with all these magical trinkets, and I wouldn't say a word to my co-stars or crew or directors. I saw the fear in their eyes, and it was like oxygen to a forest fire. I believed I was the Ghost Rider."
In this movie, you literally are fighting an inner demon.
What I like to sometimes do is go outside the box and find something that's more than natural.